Everyone, please rise for a pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States. Republic, just stands one nation under God. Welcome, everyone. First order of business is a sign permit for Lucky Catskills.
Yep, so sign permit, you have the application in your packet as well as a picture of the sign. Sign permits are type 2 actions under seeker, meaning they require no review. So it's just a review of the sign and then acceptance or denial of the permit application.
Do we have any comments or discussion from board members?
Sign looks fantastic.
Anyone else? Do we have a motion to approve?
Yeah, the application fee and the authorization letters from the building property owner were dropped off about half an hour before the meeting, so we're good.
Motion to proceed, yes.
We make a motion to approve?
Yes.
Yes, second.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? So carried.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, next up, we have 20 Park Lane, 5964 Main Street. This is both a lot line adjustment and a site plan review. The lot line adjustment is basically getting rid of the lot lines that have it set as 3 different sets of property right now, making it a single property. Once that happens, it will automatically put all of that property into the CBD for zoning purposes. And then, so that part, the lot line adjustment itself is a type 2 action under seeker. Then secondarily, we are also looking at a sketch plan for a site plan for an additional 4-bay garage on the property. That part is going to be an unlisted action under seeker and will include DP, DC, village, highway,
Coordinated review.
coordinated review.
So I think we'd like to start with, before he can do any site plan, we need the lot.
We could do the lot line first, yeah. The applicant, Eric and Greg Thorpe are here, so if you want to have them come up and do a short presentation first and.
Anyone? Mr. Thorpe's or both, just give a brief presentation on the lot line adjustment to create that.
We're proposing to combine all 3 months. Yeah. Should have been. Now, so the line would be.
Yeah, sounds reasonable as heck.
Is there anything in the zoning document that hurdles any of that?
No, none of, once the lot lines are dissolved and it all becomes one property, you no longer have any hurdles in zoning for anything that this is looking to do. So if we want to approach the lot line first, I think you guys have. No. I think we had
Well,
a-
my question is if it's appropriate under our current zoning law to do the lot line adjustment in that fashion and erase the lines and combine the property. There's nothing in our.
There's nothing in the zoning that disallows the erasing of the property lines. And the property owner has owned these lots for a period of time. It's common when an owner owns multiple lots that are adjacent to each other for them at some point in time to usually get those combined. And in some counties in New York, it's not even just usual. It actually happens automatically after a period of time in some counties in New York.
Any discussion from board members?
Self-explanatory.
I just did one of the, I think it's great to see a little business expanding, so I'm happy to see that.
But I agree with splitting.
I'm also happy to see you in the pictures that you are gonna better define the bar charging.
Right now,
We're
right
only
now, we're
discussing-
really specifically
Yeah.
discussing the lot line
Okay, He
adjustments.
doesn't have.
Lot line.
You reserve them for that piece of it. Mr. Adler? No comments?
So motion to approve the lot line as presented.
Motion approved lot line.
Do we have a second?
So,
All those in favor?
so here on the lot line adjustment, what you're gonna
Anyone
need to
opposed?
do at this point is you're gonna you're gonna need 3 paper maps
And a new Mylar.
and a Mylar. Okay. You have the Mylar already. So basically what's gonna have to happen is, so 1 paper map stays with the village. The Mylar has to go down to the county. Okay, you need you guys to have signed it, and then Lee will sign them as well, once your guys' signatures are on them. You have 60 days to get those submitted to the county from the date of the signature, or they're no longer good and you have to come and do it all over again. So don't wait the 60 days, don't even wait the 30 days. Just the second you get the signatures, go down and get them filed with the county, just down at the county clerk's office. Okay, yeah, right, so right next door. All right,
I'm in every day. It's at her office tomorrow's.
okay, all right, so that is, so now we can talk about the actual
Second.
site plan.
But could we? I'm gonna move this table over.
Yeah,
I'm gonna put it here and you have maps and then maybe one of you, so both of you can make a presentation to the board. Even though they've reviewed it electronically and publicly here. In the near future, over the next board meeting, the board and 50. Yeah. That is space. And we will be adding screens, so all this presentation will be done electronically, also public can see it, everyone can see it, it'll be easier to review. And thank you for those that are more invited. You guys all have to do the copy. Also,
Take away.
board members, feel free to get up and look at the full drawings if you're already familiar. You have this long.
We all got copies of this?
I think we're all familiar with this. Well, when you get to my decade, sometimes you like the bigger moves.
if you guys can just talk about your initial concept at first, and then we'll have a discussion about some concerns that we might have.
Yeah, so it's gonna be a 60-foot deep and 80-foot across the front of Park Lane. I had it set back 35 feet from the edge of the street. There's another map that I sent to Robin. You guys probably have a smaller phone, didn't have the big one on me today, but it's well past the 15-foot setback.
That's unbelievable, that's fantastic.
And then the closest our building, which is 28 feet. It's gonna be 4 bays. There was a division down the center, 2 restrooms, 1 for each side, and then an office space. I tentatively plan to rent out 1/2 of it. And then the other side of us just for storage.
Okay, so just so you know, once again, so everybody knows, it is an unlisted action under seeker. We do have to do coordinated review on it. It is gonna have to go for 239 review as well. It doesn't need any zoning variances, but like my first look at this, just to give you guys my, you know, my professional thing, the first issue that I see with it is that wide open driveway at the front of the building.
Yeah, let me just speak to that. So, as some people know in the community, the DRI offered a conductivity study for the village to improve getting people from Main Street to residential areas and also down to the recreation area. So I think Mark was going to articulate, but what is consistent is that we want safe foot traffic throughout the village. We already have a striped path on this side, which is marginally safe for pedestrians coming off Park Lane, getting to Main Street. Mark and I went outside and walked because it's not, I think represented on the maps certain drainage improvements, which we've had issues further down the block at the first residential home and a side street. So we were looking at ways to improve stormwater and to add sidewalks. Also from traffic, which is kind of reckless coming in and out of here, why we tried to align it to create a safer environment. We think that expanding the sidewalk, adding DIs, replacing the storm drainage, which would on some levels be cooperative with our own DOT to add that drainage, catch the stormwater, either send it into the storm drain on 23A that way. You have two gutters that outlay right off this existing roof structure that pour into the side street. And then we have more created in the new project. And then we have this long span without any curb cuts, if we do it as is. So our first, and we didn't even talk, we just saw this independently, to create safety and to create is to create a new sidewalk walk with an island. And then ingress and egress
Right.
into your property.
A gas station style.
Yeah,
We're not gonna put any island.
No, we're telling you, we need you to put an island here with entrance and exit, because you cannot, this is already dangerous enough over here on this side. We can't allow for this to be full wide open to the street on this side, driving up to the street as well.
we think it really will improve the look and improve safety of foot traffic coming out of what you're using facility.
The problem being that
We're not gonna be able to use,
central, they won't be able to use the middle base and.
if you put something in the.
You may need to move the building back a little bit further in, but you will be able to use it if you move the building.
5-foot sidewalk, talking about taking an island and building 20-foot island.
So the sidewalk, you want the sidewalk to start where? Where were you thinking?
Well, ideally from the village, but
You
I'm.
wanna start in 23A
Yeah,
and run to the end.
Drop the
of
DI.
Landing? I mean, you got no sidewalk. Through here, you know,
well, ideally, we do want to go to the end of property, but
Well,
not for.
Not for you guys.
Not by you guys, but ideally, get from 23A to the end of the property line, and then, but the village is prepared to go further from that point. And to improve the drainage, because what are we doing with the water that's coming off the buildings? So,
it's the same thing it always did for the last 100 years. It ran off the building and ran over the side into Grace Lane stream, I would imagine.
we want to make sure that it clearly goes, and that might be the easiest way.
At this point, there's no building there. It doesn't matter that there was an existing building. When it comes to dealing with runoff at this point, what used to happen doesn't matter. The building doesn't exist. At this point, you need to deal with the fact that you're putting up another building and there's gonna be more water coming off of it. And as I said, the other part of it is this, by putting the island in, one, it helps move the water instead of it all just flushing through across the entire thing. It helps move the water better, and it's a safety issue. Like having these like really long curb cuts is a thing in the past. They're not safe. They're not, especially not safe in an area that's supposed to be pedestrian friendly. Yeah, it's just
Yeah, that's probably going.
so close to the corner of 23A on top of it. It is just a major safety issue.
Then, but I think that cooperatively, as far as my position is, that the improvements to storm drainage would work along with the village, because as it gets cut, then we're gonna determine, all right, let's capture this water, let's capture the water off your two gutters now, let's send them into the storm drain, maybe those two get sent that way while we're adding sidewalk. And then the other, let's send it to Gray's Lane, rather than thinking it's all going in one direction, a
Right.
couple DIs. And there's another DI right by the first residential home after Gray's Lane that is failing, but we're analyzing where that water is coming from and if there are any more pipes leading to it, so that we can just, and the village even is applying for a stormwater collection grant to, as we're having this build out, which I'm gonna support, as I'm grateful for any investment into our community, but we do want to do it right. So we don't want to create we're gonna have a lot more impervious surface.
Right.
We're gonna have a lot more runoff from roofs. And we have historically an apparent unsafe walking conditions in multiple spots in the community. hence why we got a $1.3 million grant to improve conductivity.
But it's in lieu of a compromise, the sidewalk, if it's double curved. You can omit the island because it'll have a curb inside and a curb outside, that would divert water, so.
As long as define entrance and exit.
Right, you don't need island, it's just
You
sidewalk
can
on both ends.
zoom back, like.
Yeah, like I said, it didn't have to be a 20-foot island.
Well,
You're gonna try to back into central. It's no tension law,
I
just
just-
not gonna work.
Just said.
4 doors, we're gonna have flatbed, which is a big vehicle.
Right.
You're gonna-
you understand the same, right? Like, the reality is like, we can't allow that.
I mean, this is for, there's base here, there's
Right,
only.
it's good, but that doesn't mean, that doesn't mean,
If you had a 4-foot just sidewalk with.
in modern plan, the way to do it.
We don't need an island curb. We don't agree with people.
You need to define entrance and exit, we cannot. That's to the road.
Right, but-
by any way.
A sidewalk with 2 cuts only, near the island, so they can have that extra 6 feet.
I'm just trying to wrap my head around how much space you need that. For Is there? That's what I mean.
Or maybe back.
That's what I'm saying. We don't need a lot of, we don't need a really big thing.
Like a 4-foot sign.
It's on the firehouse.
I see your guys, I see.
That's what we're kind of.
But that. I think the firehouses are built.
Right.
They're built far enough back in the property will allow single entrance and single exit, not wide entrance.
It looks like you have the property, if you set back another 5 or 10 feet, then you might even.
We don't
make
even
it-
wanna set back any farther, we have parking in the back, the central Hudson, instead of using your parking lot, you have.
But you just put a sidewalk with 48 inches without the island. You have an automatic curb coming out. You just have a large curb cut, and a piece of sidewalk. You save where you space.
The sidewalk would then be flush and it was.
Oh, no, a sidewalk on your end and the front end should be above grade, so the water hits the curb on both ends, and you're done. You already made an island with the sidewalk. You save cost, and there's no argument. Again, maybe I'm.
Their argument is they don't feel that the 5 feet is enough space to get the truck in.
So can you go back to your architects and see what the turning radius and see what they think it's gonna be? What the challenge is gonna be if you add a 5-foot sidewalk? Consider 5 foot with the with curbs on both sides, right? It's not really an island.
Yeah, it's just.
Yeah, just say, what is the turning radius? What's my big, what are we expecting to put in that? It's a turning
I'm
radius.
not saying it's slow down the whole make of the property, as I say, you know, curb cut. Maybe it could be 35 feet, maybe your sidewalk is only 16 feet. Still not wrong with this?
Yeah, it's definitely. Yeah, then innovative.
Yeah,
Have a truck come out of the inner bay and have to.
Go around something,
Like,
or go.
I think it's
I saw them run over, walk is not.
perfect, wide as hell.
Station there, top in as well. We have to add sidewalk and another. For that.
Let's be patient. How about a little piece of sidewalk you set up enough room for all your trucks without considering moving your building? What do we propose? They do the whole property, yes.
I understand, listen. You gotta think, this street has a lot of people that walk up and down just in the middle of the street.
What is the linear footage in the problem? You don't have any construction, what's the linear footage in the building? Yeah.
Here.
You got 80 feet, let's say if you needed 20 feet curb cuts, which is a great radius, just 20 and 20.
I was 24. I mean,
You wanna go 24, beautiful, that's 48, you have a 32-foot only middle sidewalk, that's it. You have enough radius to get a tank plus a trailer. So now this is where I'm going, I'm sorry to interrupt you. So you talk, now you're figure 24-foot sidewalk, curbs on both ends, I think you're set to go, enough to get a tractor trailer and to spin around. Make the board happy or whatever the coordinated review, So it's only 24 feet. The misnomer why I'm interrupting is, it seems like, it looks like the whole area is gonna be a sidewalk. So if you got 24,
Right.
correct, 48. And in the middle you have, what was it again?
You'll still have enough,
You'll have-
I mean, like the reality is.
It's supposed to be
you're
a sidewalk.
a little bit with them, but yeah, I mean.
That's a great couple. So you have 24 open on each end. That's enough to get an attractive trailer in with this little slip in front.
Does create the defined entrance and defined access. Right, and therefore, when people are walking down, they're more, I mean, it's just like if you see it here, right?
This is an
People-
open-
People just kind of walk.
Recognize it as a, well,
Yeah.
So you got 48,
It's
you got
32.
32-foot sidewalk. That's it, right in the middle, and you got no trees, you're done.
It's the sidewalk, but the curbs, I mean, the curbs are just, you know, it's hard to back big trucks.
Well, when you bring it
And
in.
it's hard to plow.
I understand, but that's why things come to play.
Exactly.
Building back, they came in with plans, I mean, shall I get the center, maybe I am. I'm not asking you to send it.
no, he said he was losing 5 feet. So he talked about setting it back 5 feet to make up for the turning.
Him, the problem is.
Well, like I said, the Central Hudson employees want part, you know. There's a reason to be
The other
around
thing-
that size. Yeah,
It should have been illustrated.
okay.
Yeah.
So, you know, if this is being used.
If you're gonna use that for
Parks is
parking.
being. That needs to be actually shown in the site, because like we wouldn't be making that recommendation, pushing the building back if we saw.
Yeah.
So we.
It should be on the site plan.
So we may have something of a 24 side right now as a open, correct?
Well, he's gonna go back
Yeah, no, I just want to get something in my own head, 24 on the ends.
and show the parts.
The starting point, is that fair?
Yeah.
It says somebody's taking to a whole island plus the drive, and we have no foot. At least there's a starting point where you can walk down and say, whether it's reasonable or not, at least you know. And hold us to the tolls.
Right.
You said 24 off the record, I guess it's on the record now. At least you got a starting point, and you got a 32 maximum curb frontage. I'm not talking about the end curves. That's the discussion I'll be making.
So- Yeah, so the things we need, really, the things we'll need on the next set of maps and stuff. Like that. We need to show. If you're using these things for parking or for anything else, these areas, you need to kind of designate that. and show. The request is there. To extend this siding from here to basically here. If that's the request, right?
Well, that would be the overall request, but if they're saying that's a hardship, they're gonna come back. But I think the mandatory piece is that island in the middle. I'm gonna call it an island,
This
on
piece
a
has-
piece of sidewalk, delineating people that they're not coming down Park Lane and flying in.
No, that's why we just did mathematics.
But for the record, I said cooperatively, we're trying to use some funds that the village has, improve drainage, improve Park Lane traffic, improve foot traffic. And do it all at one thing.
Maybe. So then, maybe just a sidewalk as a double buffer delineation without having them install curb cuts on the other ends, where there is no sidewalk to begin with. Am I out of my mind or am I missing a sidewalk? I don't see
Let's
one.
just start with what the architect can come up with.
Well, how about 24 for now?
And then, your architect I met the other day, I was out there, and he was gonna show. Any mitigation from the property lines for the resident, since it goes from commercial to residential, even though it's really Gray's Lane, it's not that bad. There is some real good existing foliage out there.
Right.
That's already full grown and grown in. But he said, yeah, I can come up with more barriers, because you're gonna have a public hearing in the future. I don't believe any of your neighbors are here right now. Maybe you're a neighbor, so we have one neighbor here, but this is not your turn. But it will be.
Sorry. Clay.
But just for us to do diligence before Claire comes, someone would say, hey, and we're also mitigating. Maybe the noise of the truck pulling in here, or because we're demarcation of commercial property and line to a residential, and some resident may say, hey, I'd love for that to be deflected or mitigated a little bit. But I understand it's commercial and I understand I bought my house, which is 1 block from the commercial district, so everyone has some accountability. But when you do site plan, whenever you can mitigate. For any of your neighbors, we try to aggressively mitigate any future problems. So I did mention it to your architect when I met him when he dropped off plan.
And you that we already have an existing thing with fire trucks and already central Hudson, so at least there's something give and take here. Like, plus Mr. McGonagall is between your neighbors, we already have a commercial parking lot, therefore, I'll wait till everything else is done, but I'm gonna be reasonable.
As we said, we need to show that, we need to show here.
Right.
Parking
and the island.
Yeah,
Got it.
are there is there lighting?
I didn't have.
Lighting should show down lighting.
Yeah.
Is there like lighting like that's the verb?
Kind of need.
They actually had like above our.
They do that, it's above. Yeah.
So kind of, we
If we
play
can
your,
go-
I kind of plan on putting some down.
Alright, so we can just have an idea of what type of light it is, just remember that it needs to be dark sky. Right, but in like, this is getting.
And where we could cast, maybe just to the edge of the road. So that people understand, oh, it's Yankee Stadium on the corner, so it should get.
Right, so we do like that's where we can have the segments. Are you bringing water and sewer into the building? Yes, so. Do you have?
There's already a
is
scope
where
on
it
one of them.
coming into the building on one of these plans? Is it drawn on one of these plans? They do, they have to, I don't know, what's like that.
Yep.
They just, so yeah, it just. needs-
One commercial into this.
It's lighting, water system. The expert part is that. So the address. There's a lot of. Electric system.
No, I know.
It's having.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, basically, you're just supposed to fill out these are coming.
Yeah, if they're existing, they should be clearly identified by them. Because that's gonna be filed, so under safe dig, which we just had a problem, so we need a 10-inch main. This would all be resolved because it would be filed with the county and everyone else, they would know, oh, here's where a sewer main is, here's where the power is coming off the pole, this is where the water is. Just for the public, and that's really what this diligence is all about, and also that the spotlight out the back, which you think is security, shines in her bedroom window and she comes in yelling at us.
Right, so yeah, I think that covers what we need.
Typical coordinated.
So
review.
here, so things that we like, so a couple of things we need to do as a board right now administratively. We do need to declare for lead agency, so we need a motion for lead agency. Second,
All in favor?
okay, so so I'll get that going. We also do need, with the site plan, we need to submit it for 239 review, so I need to do a motion to submit this for 239 review.
All those in favor? Any opposed?
And then the last thing is, do you feel, I always put it up to the board, with the changes that need to be made. Do you feel comfortable going ahead and moving forward with having the public hearing at the next meeting? Or do you need to see the changes complete on the map before you schedule a public hearing? They're fairly minor, it's up to you guys.
I have faith in the thoughts that they're gonna come in.
I'm comfortable doing that. But if those changes aren't articulated on the map, then that.
Then we hold the public hearing
We-
open for another month.
We hold the meeting open. If you can't get someone to put those things on the map
Right.
in time for a public hearing, then it comes off the agenda.
I'm sure you will.
And are we clear, or do we have to memorialize the comments that we made, or you guys got? them?
It's up to them to take the notes.
The lighting,
More clearly defined egress.
I'm gonna say something on the record. Your generosity of coming 35 feet on an offset is fantastic. You didn't have to, but you did.
Central Hudson leaves their truck parked in front like it is right now, in front of the building, so. Park it in front of the building. Without it being in the street or on, I guess now we gotta worry about a sidewalk or an island.
Well, at least you're saying that you're generous.
Yeah. Make sure.
So,
But we definitely wanna make sure we. Because if you,
Schedule.
it's the only way, if we
Huh?
can't get around it here, we won't be able to get.
yeah,
Go between the buildings and out, so we want to make sure that we can get. out.
right, because you didn't want to do it on the third, July 10th, because you didn't want to do it on the third,
Listen, at least you got it.
so the 10th,
Hope that's helpful.
so July 10th at 5:30.
Understand. I get it. Yeah, I have no problem putting sidewalk in, I just needed to, so people can, so the truck can back over, you know. It doesn't really have a curb. But I can see what you're saying, you want it to make.
Double curb sidewalk.
Yeah,
You know,
understand.
it this way, and then you came in a little driveway or something.
Yeah, that would-
change the whole
Yeah.
thing. Put the building and turn it this way.
That was the thing, yeah,
Then you could just pull in and you can do anything you want once you got off. the
Right.
road.
Yep.
Understand. See, now the Central Hudson truck's got to pull up here, block road and back in.
and that's part of what I have to try.
Right.
Well, that's why you have at least.
We have a motion for a public hearing on July 10th. And that meeting will proceed, given that we have the updated comments on the new presentation.
I have one question. If, because you're now talking about, if we were rotating the.
No.
Okay, I was just gonna say, if there's gonna be major changes, I wouldn't be. for that.
Motion go forward. with the next-
Cody made the motion, seconded by
Second.
Rebecca, July 10th, 5:30. Yeah.
Right, thank you guys, I
Okay.
appreciate it.
Thank you. Right.
Next up, we got 5975 Main Street, it's sketch plan for, sketch plan, site plan, we have a presentation for the site plan. It is an unlisted action under seeker for coordinated review. It will include DP, DEC, DOH, and that should be it.
So.
It also is gonna need to be, oh, no, I'm sorry, it also, that one also has to, be coordinated review with the ZBA and with the Tannersville Fire Department.
Okay.
4 stories.
Okay.
Why go on top?
Doesn't it?
We didn't do one more up top.
We didn't, yeah.
Yeah. Hello.
All you do is-
Maybe, I'm Sam.
You're.
Yeah.
Hey, Mark. How are you?
This is my copy as well. So it's gonna be managing
Okay.
said establishment.
Okay. So. This is 5975 Main Street,
And soon to be back to its glory.
Yeah.
Actually, former cheers.
The whole building is there. You're right.
You're a good salesman.
Well,
this is just an existing condition. The building currently is 26.9 feet from the property line. And is roughly 3,780 feet, square feet, just the footprint. New building to replace the one we're gonna be demoing. With a footprint of about 3,700, 4 stories. It's gonna be a restaurant on the main floor, residential on the second and third with rooftop dining and outdoor patio. And then a new rear structure in the back, 1 story, for public dining.
It's interesting.
I'm sorry?
It's interesting. It's pretty well city.
This is our utility plan. Currently, there's already sewer and water. About 41 feet, 8 inches.
That's one of the things that has to go for a ZBA.
No, I know that. Wondering if we knew 40.
40, yeah.
So you're, but
But but it's also the zoning is for 3 stories, not 4, but the 4-story.
I was just
Yeah,
wondering, because the ceiling originally existed.
I've been, not sure if they were with the right people, but there had been conversations about the changes here. That had taken place with the engineering firm, and don't want to get anybody in trouble, but with people. And if that is, this was like during the time. So they weren't obviously with people here, this was before the election.
The prior administration,
The prior
No, no,
administration.
Mr. Kelly, Mr.
They were
President,
gone.
excuse me. The law's been on the books for 15 years.
Oh,
We're only going by the law and what the current regulations are. Doesn't matter what administration was, doesn't matter what conversations. We're only here to follow the village laws according to, has been adopted for 15, 20 years. Whatever the discussions were,
yes.
we're not looking at former administrations or anyone else, we're just, there are avenues that can be started.
Avenue. Being that, there would be welcoming to that, if there is not a welcoming to that, we're happy to make refinements, you guys let us.
I'll put on the record, the past administration had nothing to do with this board, they never have, they never will, and whoever told you that.
How we're a foot and a half over, how we're looking at 3. What? What, again, that was another conversation, that's something else.
the one thing I will make everybody aware
Where
of
people-
is that there's 3 things that it's missing on zoning. One
Yes.
is the 4 stories instead of 3. How you want to determine
Yep.
whether a rooftop deck really is overcoming that the intent of a 3 stories zoning ordinance or not, that's the zoning board's issue, right? One is the setback from the front, which we need to look a little bit more into because we're not necessarily certain that the DOT right away is going to be a hindrance because we're not the DOT right away as it comes through the village does some really funky things and it's not necessarily exactly the same everywhere.
And once it's torn
So
down,
we need to have some understanding of that before. But that, once again, that will be something that gets brought up when you guys go to the ZBA. For consideration, and then, right. The last thing that's gonna have to go for zoning approval is the actual total size of the building is above the maximum total size of the building. Their maximum total size of this, what they're right now reporting as the total size of the building is slightly less than what actually got approved in the DRI plan. So when this project went to DRI, it was approved in the DRI as a 12,000 square foot building. So above the maximum allowed by zoning within that document.
so
We just don't want to jeopardize your funding or anything else.
Yeah.
So that's why we're going through with that. And by the way, we have a process that has to gone through, appropriate process. But if I was talking, period, please do this project tomorrow.
Oh, everybody loves.
So there is not an issue about that there is an appropriate steps to be taken. But if I was outside on my soapbox, I was saying, do this tomorrow. Your neighbor's building next door, the building up the road, because downtown revitalization of $10 million, the project next door over here, whatever investment we can entice to this village was the intent of the DRI. So I fully support this,
And I,
but we need to go through the law and the appropriate steps to get to what's gonna work for the village. That,
100%.
but don't ever think anything different.
everybody.
There is no encumbrance or hindrance to growth like this in our community. This was the intent of the DRI, and for those who don't know, I was the chairperson of the DRI and spent a year of every minute of my life navigating that process to try to get your project awarded, your neighbor's project awarded, sidewalk project awarded, solar project that just went on the firehouse and other projects throughout the village, and all this downtown fund. So I'm crystal clear what the vision is, but we have an appropriate process to protect the health and welfare of our community.
And
So
let me add something. This administration was putting Mr. McGonigal in the voters because of people like you and people like myself on this board. Excuse my behavior with the old administration. We want this to go. We promoted this to ad nauseum. So nobody's here pulling you at all. But let me tell you something. The minute this gets done, we all look good, and that's what everybody wants. So excuse my behavior with the past administration. They can both smoke somebody else's rear end, but not mine. Thank you.
all right, Mr. Kelly, we're moving on.
An existing sewer, an existing water line to the building, so we're just planning on utilizing those taps already. We have, a few proposed catch basins in the rear to collect the drainage and proposing to connect it to Main Street drainage. Mhm.
That's thorough.
Okay,
And then electrical line in front, pretty much where they already exist. Our lighting landscaping plan, we have proposed lighting along the page north side of the building, down the kind of access alleyway here. String lights over the patio area in the back. And lights under the covered walkway outside of the rear building. And ground floor, sorry. And then lighting in the front. We also have a proposed fence line going page north along the property line and in the rear. And these are some site details that we have, catch basin detail, sewer trench details.
20,
Three,
30.
yep. And buildings detail, for motions under control.
So what's it for me? What do you think?
So,
it's still going.
yeah,
And these are just
That's
the
nice.
elevation. Of the building, this is the front of the building on Main Street. The two sides. The rear of the main building, this is all main building. And then this is the elevation of the rear building. And this is what faces one of the side properties. And this faces the rear.
Is that, sir, east or west? West, okay, that's the west.
And then this faces, the proposed building. In the front. And then this is the other side, and then the dumpster location is off of the building in the back.
can you go back to one of the earlier maps and show me where the dump location is, like on one of the ones that shows the full. So you're having the dumpsters going right out to the street, right on the street?
That's brand
What is, this is. This is.
An alley?
That's too long.
It's an alley.
Yeah.
So are you gonna get to the carpet? Is room for a truck to get down there?
Are these actually full size dumpsters or long?
Roll it up.
Long. It's a whole line to there.
Oh, great. Yeah, I just had to guess, because I was like, I don't need enough room for that. down here.
It's like, it's close, it's,
It's enclosed.
that's a fence that you have that's
Yeah.
closing in front of it, right? Right.
Building,
Very Soho.
How many apartments?
There's gonna be, was it 3, 5, 10? 10, so 3 are studio / 1 bedrooms, and then 2 are 2 bedrooms, or 4, sorry. 6 are studio / 1 bedrooms, 4 are 2 bedrooms. Primary, yeah.
I hate that term workforce. It's gotta be regular.
Yeah.
Let's go with the problem.
Long term.
Yeah, they're long-term.
The whole mood.
proposing wood siding, horizontal on the top, vertical on the bottom. Color scheme, red, reddish brown.
We have an issue with it, we believe, when they tear down the existing building that has a slight deck in the front, that this building gets a little closer to the sidewalk.
No, this actually comes further away.
It's, yeah, they're creating a larger seating area in the front. Or a
So
larger
what is the
patio
DOT
area.
concern?
Okay,
Yeah, there's no seating with them.
Okay. So the distance from the front though is based on what the perception of the DOT right of way law is, and that
Yeah.
needs to be clarified.
Yeah, that's how.
So we're doing diligence for them, so that DOT doesn't want to come back later on. So what I'm saying is, we have an existing building that has an endpoint parallel to 23A. It will be gone. The new building, is it closer to the midline?
No.
Of 23A, or is it?
Further back,
Or 2 back?
and that's,
More than.
so under the zoning law, it's only allowed to be 25 foot back. And this is gonna put it to 33 foot back, so it's an extra 8 feet back. The zoning law is written at 25 feet back to create a uniform
Look on the
look
community.
on, from
Yeah.
Main Street.
I'm not gonna speak on behalf of the ZBA, but there is currently not a uniform 25-foot distance either, so
Right,
we're probably okay. I thought you were bringing it closer and DOT
No,
was gonna say, we're gonna charge you rent.
Oh, gosh, no, further back.
Is there additional, essentially, front of the house? Facing up the floor, additional seating.
You gotta look at DOT specifications. They do it all the time here.
Is there any?
I mean, part of it from our end was just. If we looking at like snow removal, side, I mean, it gets pretty bunchy, like right where it is right now. Like there isn't much room there, so we just wanted to give it a few feet, especially during the winter time. To kind of like not seem, like you're climbing through, because the.
Mountains is full.
Yeah, so I think that was part of the big part of it, and yeah, I think to your point, like if you look at where the buildings are, they're kind of all over the place. The one next to us had the big porch in front of it. And so, we just felt that it was a little bit getting a little bit space off might just be more, like even more in line, I guess, with where everything is. So, but really, the idea for the outdoor seating is in the back.
And that's just where that front wall is. May be equal to the existing building to your east, where their building is, not counting the deck.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes,
exactly.
That's what I'm saying.
The deck wall will almost match up.
That neighbor match up.
But I never,
A little bit, but don't go that far, but
I've never seen anybody relinquish 8 feet and then get pushed back for relinquishing 8 feet. But Mr. McGonagall's point is, if that deck were gone, it'd be almost lined up with you.
They said it was just gone.
And he's absolutely correct. That makes sense. I've never seen something very generous of you to relinquish square footage.
Okay, so did you have any other?
Nope.
Okay, perfect. So
Give us the pretty picture again. Give us the color.
I just don't know, though. The color doesn't match the rest of the village.
Well, actually, we have a designer here I was gonna incorporate later. How's Sergey? One improvement. with
Oh,
color.
yeah, he can get you some color.
He can get some color, Sergey.
Yeah, I mean, like, other than the color is a nice color, but
We're not
it
discussing
doesn't
color.
match, it's so,
Addition, right?
it's so not village in this, in the clouds or whatever.
You know, we are the painted village in the skies.
You
You
know,
may want to add a little.
and I was impressed, not him.
A little pizzazz. Yes.
It's where it is. Exactly.
Yeah. It also mimics,
It's an updated version.
it looks more like meatpacking district on 18th. Tell you the truth.
All right, so. First off, once again, it's an unlisted action under seeker.
Do we have a motion?
Motion to declare for a lead agency.
Do I have a motion to declare lead agency? Do we have a second? Cody seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? So carried.
All right, then we need a motion to submit for 239 review.
Motion to submit the 239 review, second, please.
All those in favor?
And then the last thing we need to do is, we're not gonna be able to set a public hearing right this moment because we actually need to refer this to the ZBA.
So those two comments on the extra foot
Three.
and the extra slight setback
Yes.
And what we're doing on.
and what you're doing on a roof.
There's three
Three.
variances. One's the extra story, one is the extra square footage, and one is the,
Rooftop.
it is the,
Just.
it's the
height.
It's the front, it's the height slash, they put it as, they submitted it as 3, it really is 4, it's height, it's 4-story, it's total square footage and distance off of Main Street. Are the 4 things that the ZBA needs to consider.
And then you mentioned this separate entity of the DRI with the square footage.
So the square footage, so this, and this is more for.
But his safety.
This is more for this is more for the ZBA's consideration, is they have to, when they're doing the consideration, they have to, like, it's based on hardship. And so, like, the 12,000 foot being what was agreed to in the DRI becomes the hardship for the square footage. Right, the DOT right away, should that hold up, becomes the hardship for the setback from the road. The 4th floor is gonna be a bigger conversation that we'll have to have with the ZBA and have that conversation. So, like, the 2 of them, I can see where the hardship is right off. That last one about the 4th floor and the extra foot and 8 inches. Those 2 are where you guys are probably gonna wanna spend more of your time coming up with the reasoning why the ZBA should be granting the variance.
Although I think
That, I mean, what calls for it to be?
I think the ZBA is going to evaluate that.
Yeah. That's.
You're utilizing, you're not, it's a public space.
But.
Yeah, it's a public gathering space.
Oh, no, I think, Mr. Spears, your 4th floor roof deck, believe it or not, is a live mode with people on it. That's what we're going with this. That becomes, doesn't matter.
It's not, it has to actually support, it has to support load of being
It's a light load.
inhabited versus it being just a roof.
Live mode, what happens is you incorporate that as a living, not a domicile, but a living space that is part of the property, which is actually no longer just a roof gathering water and snow.
So it becomes an actual floor.
An
Yeah.
actual floor, and also when you put the ceiling, you've made it a floor. It's
Oh, that
so-
was one of the like, with it being so with the 4th floor
Yeah, Dave, can I see that?
deck.
Mhm.
Is
That's our
are
zoning
you
document.
having an elevator to get people
Yeah.
up there?
My concern is that
Right,
The elevator
front
for, for
needs to be.
ADA.
that's what,
And then.
That's being close. That hasn't, I'm talking about
Yeah.
the other-
And then. You know, to be.
said
I think not necessarily, but we have like the bar
Yeah,
area.
yeah, yeah. No, I think we all,
That's the, I told Mr. Mark yesterday.
Including some sort of skirting, it doesn't have to be a wall.
That's
think it is first to be.
Yeah.
You did tell Mark.
we,
Oh, yeah?
yeah, I mean, like, it's gonna have to, like, the fourth floor thing is really, it's a zoning, it's a ZBA issue for them to take up and consider.
I just want to review the hardship as far as the DRI. Being involved in DRI for so long, that is a mute point. Because the DRI authorized X amount of dollars that you're exceeding your investment. So I think that's a total mute point. Well, the 12,000 square, if he's investing more and doing more than what was granted. 12,000 is almost.
No, I'm saying it's. So actually, so under the ZBA. Under the zoning,
But now you're gonna step with more.
we would have to force them to build a smaller building and make a smaller investment.
So he bases the square footage of the price difference.
That's why I'm saying that becomes the hardship.
The hardship is.
It's a good thing.
Amend the ZBA.
No,
I mean,
it's
amend the zoning law tomorrow.
it's a good thing. Don't, that part's a good
The
thing.
hardship is the fourth floor of this gentleman's business plan includes a rooftop. How does he get to that point?
That's,
In a
that's-
cost-effective way where his hardship is, this is part of my plan. Therefore, what do I need to do to get there? Because I feel to make this project financially viable, I need the rooftop.
As long as it was part of the,
But,
as long as it was part of the DRI.
Yeah, because
well, which is downtown revitalization. So,
But your plan is wonderful.
do we have anything else to?
On 5975, that takes care of everything because we can't schedule,
do anything
we can't schedule the public hearing until after they've been through.
Dates to schedule. I'm sorry?
This procedure, it would have to be after the 20th
Well,
of June.
June.
And it'll be as soon as possible that we can rope it in the ZBA members here.
Excuse me? Excuse me? No, you don't need Robin. No, so take that out of the equation. And I would just say as,
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
We have a.
All right, so
Uses. You talk about this fourth floor.
Okay,
Put some verbiage in there that sort of talks about the enclosure restaurant. And I think we would favor that.
thanks.
And Mark, it's got the data in terms of the setbacks.
Okay.
In terms of what they're speaking about in terms of DOT, because they had abandoned all of their lines in the 90s when they redid the highways.
Okay.
And then only took what was needed, so there's a lot of grayness there. Your property line, you may be all set.
That's what I tried to say before.
About that, or would you contact the DOT?
Let's,
It's on the
um,
applicant, isn't it?
it's, yeah, the onus is on the applicant.
To talk to the DOT.
To talk to the
Okay, yeah, you-
I can flip them what I have, but they still need to have the conversation with DOT to see if they can get an actual. Yes,
Well, judging from your plans, you look very diligent.
yes, the Conic does a very good job with their plans.
ZBA before coming back to planning.
Yes, yeah, the planning can't, for this project, planning can't do any further action until ZBA clears those hurdles.
do we have any comments on the site plan? It looks pretty.
No,
thorough.
if you guys want to, yeah, at this point, you guys can make any other comments that you have on the site plan of anything else that you might be looking. I don't, but if you, yeah, you guys actually, if you guys have any other,
No, next year. But that's not my business.
So when are you demoing?
Yeah.
Next year.
Yeah. I just wouldn't want to leave it open. I think you guys.
And by
I don't know, I think I disagree.
Why
I wanted
tomorrow?
demoed before the winter because it looks like a derelict, scary, hazardous building on Main Street.
It got great for Halloween.
I would lobby for it to be taken down before the spring
And you could put up a nice fence like Disney.
and just say, put up the little billboard like they do all around the country that shows what's coming in the spring.
You're beautiful.
And then we would have action and we'd have more investment and would be more in line with the DRI. So.
Do board members have any other
I just said-
comments, questions, needs for the site plan itself?
I don't think there's probably very little foundation there. It's not such a big hole. Foundation, this billboard would really get people excited. You can consider it, we can discuss more. You think it's gonna be a big hole?
Anybody, nobody
No,
else
it's-
with any
it's
other
a-
actual comments? on the site? Bill, you're done? You're good on the site plan?
Yeah, no.
Alright, 66, don't go too far, just flip yourself over. Alright, 6062 Main Street.
Thank you.
They're not going anywhere yet. 6062 Main Street.
I thought it was gonna tell me. Karen, please. Okay, here we go.
6062 Main Street, the old Sal / Happy Days Pizza. Site plan review. Once again, unlisted action under seeker. It will, once again, involved agencies for this one will be DPDC, DOH. I think that's it.
So this project is just interior renovations and exterior, building siding renovations. Inside, yeah. The only site, proposed site that we're doing is removing the existing deck that's located off of the. Yes. And proposing. An outdoor patio area for ADA access to the building. There's an existing window here that we're gonna put a new door. A new door, and then that way. ADA has access to the building.
Facade.
I think.
I've had this back and they've been reviewing. I have the most diligent, efficient board here.
Listen, as Townsville resident of 30 years, I'm dying to see this.
Yeah, we want the coloring different. Tell us when if I'm how.
I love it. You know, everyone else gonna learn that.
Colors into town.
You're bringing brown in, yeah.
It is the painted village in the sky. I guess you missed that note. That's true.
It's very Thomas Hart Benton, I love it. I like what you else does.
All right.
It's not like or dislike. I personally, I like them.
I love
It doesn't fit with the scheme. It brings Scribner to Tannersville.
It in some ways, it falls out, like the replacements. If you have something, you know, you
Remember.
So you're bookending the village with the two brown buildings.
Listen, it's better than what the hell's there.
Listen,
Right,
we
yeah,
have a
it's,
motion to,
so,
yeah,
Is there I couldn't see if it.
Got it back alley. It's in the back.
it's gonna be
alley.
on that.
Just cause like when you go up the street, it's just like a nice building.
On Hill Street, it looks horrible back.
right
You get the staircase in the back going down.
right now.
So you would be in the same location, would be.
You go.
Because right now,
The issue that we have. is we're-
I know, but that made the law.
So because you can't, it's basically, like, you can't put it here, so if we can put it here. And it doesn't, anywhere you put it on that spectrum. So, I mean, if we just don't know a better place to put it, I mean, there's just not. So, I mean, you're on this side,
It's not facing Main Street, that's all we need to be concerned
yeah,
with.
no matter where you go, I mean, I think, we'll try to give it. The give it,
Some those streets, you can't stand them.
like, you've been to-
yeah, I mean, we'll look at where it's at and try to box it out as best as we can, yeah. Yeah, I mean, we haven't been operating, focusing on that, but yeah, I mean, we'll definitely, I mean, for everybody. Yeah. Yeah, no, yeah. Yeah, I mean, we're gonna have people that we're gonna, might be sitting outside here. So they'll definitely not want to see that, and all of our guests are gonna be coming in, so they're not gonna want to see that either.
Yeah, we're gonna need, so just to kind of not have to go through ZBA on the dumpster concerns, take a couple of minutes, look at the zoning document on like what it says about dumpsters and all that. And make sure that's covered in how you're showing it on the drawings.
And again, you're so thorough, I'm sure you'll have this to a T.
We're gonna have a public hearing, and you'll be able to make comments, unless it's brief or specific.
And that will be.
Excuse me, George, I'll let her just.
No, I just wanna if new structures or facades are being redone, is there some thought to try to keep it in line with the existing structures that are already on Main Street, like that, because everything is so old, are we thinking to try to keep it in the era?
To be somewhat consistent, but we have to be somewhat lenient, because some of the buildings aren't structurally even sound enough, have to be condemned, taken down. So we're trying to get somewhere in that gray area where it is consistent, that there is a consistent theme. That it's not off the wall of this new straight all glass structure, maybe that the only example I could give that may be totally out of course with what our community is. Understanding also that many of the buildings are just not structurally sound to even move forward. And therefore, they're all kind of like a Hollywood front. And that's why we mentioned the colors, because in the zoning document, it says, are you consistent with the current architecture, the color, things of that nature, and that's why I made the remark that we are bookending the village in two brown buildings. And the developer said, well, maybe I'm highlighting all the colored buildings in the middle. So it's all food for thought, but we are considering that.
Are you saying, should we be thinking of other colors?
Yes.
You could,
It's very easy to give.
you can give an argument on either side, or you may think that there might be some attachment that would add to that current character and advertisement of the village, painted village in the sky. That's all. Maybe some.
There's ways to do it in
attributes of those
muted
facades.
colors that have other things within the building that kind of stand out, despite it, yeah.
Different accents that may keep it more consistent.
Your facade or your spindles or your finials, whatever you're putting up there, you know what to do. I don't wanna get stuck in the minutia, I'm saying.
And
Just, take a couple minutes and just drive up and down a couple times and just let the
see-
colors really.
you're making major investment, and we appreciate that. So you still want to have that consistency, like was just brought up, in our zoning document, zoning law. Not a zoning document, our zoning law.
Yeah, not the design criteria.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
So-
and I would see what maybe you can bring to the next meeting to shield some of that dumpster or anything else you can work on, but I don't think that holds us up at this point, but at least it would be articulated at the next presentation. But at this point, we make a motion to be lead agent.
Mhm.
All those in favor?
239.
230, make a motion to bring it for a 239 review. So second, all those in favor?
That's the public hearing date for immediately following the public hearing for 5964 Main Street on
July,
July 10th.
July 10th would be the next meeting. On this project. That would be the public hearing.
For this
So
one.
so we have a motion for public hearing July 10th. We'll have to do a
Motion to have public hearing.
Okay, second by Cody.
For that.
The main thing,
Maybe a little color splash on the rendering. And some sort of shielding.
but a week of the eye, that dumpster, walk my theory.
When you go out and measure that backyard, I know it's limited space. I know there's a steep incline. I know you have challenges. But maybe you can think outside the box since you're making such a big investment anyway.
And by the way, all of you. We're talking about colors, what you're doing is a hell of a lot, 6,000 times better than what we have now.
Okay, thank you very much.
Next
I
up,
appreciate it.
5999. Site plan review for 5999 Main Street. This is Manu is presenting, it's an unlisted action under seeker, DCDP, DOH. He's currently working with SLA because there's some questions there.
We have a presenter here?
Yeah, Manu's here.
Do we have any maps? No maps.
So there's a small,
Small.
yeah, you guys have it in your packet
Yeah,
as
no, I
well.
just didn't know if he was bringing any big maps.
No big map.
Man, that's visually challenged.
He got some help from Carl in creating his maps.
The community is here to help public.
All right, so if you want to kind of just give them the lowdown of what they're looking to do at the property.
Basically, just trying to put a automated beer type system on the wall, one of the wall in the room, and a walk-in cooler is gonna go behind it. That fits the tap lines, and then the food dispensing will be from the food truck. Very minimal food from inside the building, and seating on some on the deck, and then inside will be open seating.
You're not closing the deck, right?
No.
Okay, because that was a rumor. Commissary type cooking in the back of the truck is an issue with anybody with the Department of Health?
So
I reached out to Department of Health.
You got DOH?
Yes, I spoke to the sanitarian, they told me that I had my question. Okay. So they sent me applications for food truck, mobile food vending, and a catering permit, and commissary catering permit. So I'll be complying and submitting all those. As well, I'll do inside I have to put a utility sink.
Yes.
More perfect.
Because you're sanitary because of that, yes, sir.
So I'll do that permit application.
Did we get through the
as well
big hurdle?
with the DOH. I think it's
500-foot roof.
he won't get through that yet. That's SLA. That's SLA. He has to have a hearing with SLA for that.
Letter of support and support.
He hasn't gotten that for yet.
What?
He hasn't gotten it for it. They haven't looked for it yet. They've applied. We're gonna declare for lead agency. We're gonna do we're gonna go ahead and put it for 239 review.
They can reference that until the minute. We know what's going on.
Well, what he's looking for is his meeting with SLA is gonna happen, his meeting with SLA is gonna happen in July. And he's looking to be able to open soon after that. So we would have to, like, what we'd have to do in July is we'd have to do a conditional approval. And we just have a bunch of conditions. Oh, we don't.
We want to make a list.
Contingent upon us all week.
That's been discussed.
Also,
Yes.
You and I need to have a conversation about that.
yeah, you want to talk about that also.
If it's talk to you, there's two more businesses.
So I think.
Or the one.
Is
Oh, wow. Well, this one's still, this one still
That's
exists.
still existing.
He's been holding this. The South Pizza.
So I'll connect in the.
Yeah, that's one. Yeah, he has.
South Pizza has it. This one doesn't have it.
It
Doesn't have one.
And this guy is.
No, spinning, also spinning is a kind of big.
Pizza.
Huh?
Maybe. Pizza.
We have to find out, yeah, we gotta.
I'll be using the electric one.
So that's why I'm concerned.
But have the generator or.
Don't you go to complain.
That's why our approval, that's why our approval is conditional. Is
But he goes
because,
to food.
We close
Right.
in a week. We close down in a week.
alright, so. One of the things that, just so everybody's kind of aware, one of the obstacles that Manu is gonna have to overcome is there's a law. With the state liquor authority that you can only have. Three
Three liquor license.
liquor licenses in a
Within
500-foot area. Currently speaking, like, that may actually be in place.
Five, there are 500. I have to
So
list-
it's already over. So he's gonna have to go to a special hearing with the state liquor authority. To get approval to even get licensed to run this operation. So just so everybody is aware of everything else that's going
Well,
on.
there's no,
There also is secondarily another part of the SLA law. That requires that you be 500-foot door to door. From houses of worship. And he is in that one. With the temple back behind and down the street a little bit. Is gonna totally depend on where they decide to measure door to door. That is like, when I measure it, I come out at like 502 feet.
What do you say?
So
That comes out
of 500.
502.
502.
Shoot, right now I'd be a little nervous.
So he definitely is gonna have some hurdles to overcome with SLA.
Do you have
With
any
the,
concept of hours of operation?
Yes,
Could you share those?
sure. I'll be opening what I do at the brewery 2 o'clock in the afternoon and 9 that, yeah, on the. That's what I do over there, 9:30. We don't open late night, like we don't go up to like 12, 1 to
And would it be beer and wine or full liquor?
beer and wine. I'm applying for full liquor license just for the reason that I may have, let's say, bookings for weddings, bridal showers, groups, small early on,
But you're applying for a full,
full. Yes.
but your hours of operation, you think would be limited to 9, 10 o'clock?
Right, that's what I do.
You run a good show up and everybody goes there, I go, I love it.
Yeah, I'm trying, but I'm in 9th year of my operation there, so I've initially signed up for 10 years. So that's something that I'm looking for.
You were Mr. Austin.
so part of this is, part of your SLA license is. Having the commissary kitchen at the brewery, right?
Yes,
So
Or-
what happens if you end up having to leave there?
so there,
What do you plan on the commissary?
yes, so I have a backup option. I will sign commissary kitchen contract with another.
Do you, where?
I mean, right now, I may very well go beyond another 2 years at the brewery, so
Okay.
that's not a dead end yet.
Okay,
But if it comes to that point, then just like food truck owners or vendors, they work with commissary kitchens, same route I'll take.
okay. And because it's gonna be a food truck, you're gonna need to take it off site occasionally, you're gonna need to take it off site. Every X number of days for dumping your water, you're dumping your wastewater and refilling your potable, right?
Right.
Okay, so what is our action today?
Well, we can declare for lead agency.
Do we have a motion to declare for lead agency?
Make a motion to
Do we have a second? All those in favor? Anyone opposed?
Okay, the other thing we can do is we can, we need a motion to send it for 239 review.
All those in favor?
And then public hearing at the next. At the July 10th?
Yeah. Do we have a motion for a public hearing on July 10th? I think on behalf of I think the village has to make a letter to the SEC. Asking for them to clarify their position.
Yeah,
So Larry, you're stating 20,000 or more is a 500 rule, 20,000 less may be precluded. Correct?
200. The licenses is for cities over 20,000.
Over 20,000, so this may not even.
we just need to get clarification.
Well,
on this.
I was just gonna state for the record that we are going to send a letter to the SLA for their opinion.
Yeah, there hasn't been a business there with alcohol in over 10 years, so it doesn't matter. No,
Yes.
right, but so,
For
It-
a point of reference, I think
yeah,
certain liquor licenses are assigned to a piece of property. But the question that you bring up, me not being an attorney, but in my early tenure in office, there was a big push by this community. Yes. I haven't had this situation before, but I still think clarification for this board that we should get correspondence from the SLA.
right. The hardest part
Their
for
position.
him versus some of these other places is that the other places never went from being a restaurant to being something else. This building's been retail for the last 7-8 years. So because it went and changed from being a restaurant bar to being retail, it puts it in a slightly different class than things that have only ever been restaurants and then they closed, but they were only ever restaurants. So there's a little bit different play there when that comes into.
And they used, when I went to their meeting in person to the SLA. Some of their decision-making process was relative to the amount of complaints, relative to arrests on underage drinking. They factored in a lot of things, and I don't know if those parameters have changed. I am not trying to lay an obstacle, and I want all businesses to be open, but we should be fair that we are aware of certain parameters that sometimes exist with the SLA, and he should be aware that is clarified by the SLA to this functioning planning board, that we understand their position.
Get the SLA involved.
And that's it. It's not trying to be a hindrance. I just can't ignore. Yeah, no, I just can't ignore that I went before the SLA board in person when we had, I'll say, operators in the community that were operating much later hours, that were creating major disturbances, that were creating, there were violent situations, there were multiple murders on Main Street. If we want to dial back the clock, unfortunately, I've been here that long. It forced me to go to Albany and sit at a hearing while people. I'm sorry, I wasn't really making light of it. I was not making light of it. I'm not making light of any of it. But I just want to have clarification from him, and that's why I asked the first thing, what we thought the hours of operation. There are other people that have other businesses that may ask for enforcement of that law. That could rise it. I'm trying to cut through all of that minutia and be transparent and have a direct conversation with them, or have them give us something in writing so that we know as a planning board what we're approving, what this business can operate. So that we cut to the chase rather than, in Article 78 of why didn't you even ask, or why didn't you ask the SLA, or why didn't you even enforce that, or why didn't you give an opinion? Because oftentimes when a renewal for a liquor license comes through to the village, each person that has a liquor license sends a letter to the village that we are reauthorizing our liquor license. And I do appreciate your input, but yeah, I've gone through this for a lot of decades, so that's why I was concerned, and that was the side conversation with Mark and myself.
Go ahead, Mr. Moon.
So I have a question. I reached out for a certificate of occupancy, which is as of right now, which I'm supplying to SLA just to want to make the board aware. It is for eating and drinking establishment since 2018. So this is what the usage is going to go on record over there. As well, I'll just keep the hours, what my neighboring businesses or like, we're not going overboard with the hours.
I just was trying to have to be transparent with the board so that they knew what what it was.
And one thing for clarity, I would like to definitely know though, because I believe the chairman might be able to like put a lid on it for me, at least, that if I'm like over 500 feet from the place of worship or not. So because the application process for SLA, my application is all completely filled out, signed, bonded, everything, and we are very well aware of 500 feet hearing from the day one. If my SLA attorney had advised me, we're gonna go through the hearing. But if that's the hurdle, then I would probably speak to him again.
So you're lawyered up with an SLA attorney, that's the answer. Mr. McGonagall's right, you have your attorney, get all regulations from SLA with your attorney, you come before the board and you shut us up and everybody else up.
No, the board has a position to hear directly from us.
Well, his attorney can also send a little correspondence to us, can he?
Of course.
That's what I'm talking about. Not that I'm superseding you.
I mean, the 500 foot hearing rules, SLA has just was said, is depending on different factors. If the businesses are in decline, I have seen some of those.
Yeah, and I think that was brought up,
Yeah,
that maybe it has no bearing. So
They're not based on just single factor, plus the history of the applicant. Like,
Well, that's why you have an attorney.
If or the objection, let's say if you guys completely want to block it, then the SLA will probably take a little.
We have to get rid of the block you.
I'm just saying, just.
our intent is to follow the law and cross as many Ts and Is and dot our Is as we can that we are aware. So, being in public service for a lot of decades, you get aware of a lot of different situations that come about, and it's better to be transparent. It's better to have it on the record than to be in court later on without that transparency. And that's what I guard against.
That's what we.
So I know we had a motion in the second on the public hearing. Did we actually take a vote on it?
All those in favor of the public hearing on July 10th? Great.
So we'll have the public hearing on July 10th. You'll be the third public hearing that day. I need you to hold on for a couple minutes. We're almost done with me, but I got something I gotta go over with you before you can leave. All right, that brings us up to, you guys we're working on a couple of laws that at your last board meeting. We need to actually submit both of those for 239 review and because they're land use laws, we need to submit them for 239 review and for,
Do we have to do them separately? Or
Seeker.
can we do them both?
we can,
We're obviously lead agent.
just, all we need is
239 review.
no, just declare take a vote to declare for lead agency so I can send out the document.
I make a motion to declare lead agency
On the two
on
laws.
the proposed noise control law that's being revised and the proposed subdivision law being revised.
Aye.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? No.
Same thing at 230.
And then I make a motion for send out the two laws and noise, proposed noise control law revised and proposed subdivision law revised for 239 review. Second, all those in favor? Anyone opposed? Nay.
Right. So that gets us to the end of our actionable items. In the back of your packets, there's some training information. One of these is next week on Tuesday, so if you want to go to it, it's coming up quick. There is a session on short-term rental regulation, which you guys are in the midst of writing, so you might want to go to it. It's just down in Cairo, so it's not a long run for,
Everyone has this in their packet?
everybody has it.
Find the board that they required to have as many credits as possible. I would appreciate all the knowledge that you guys can gain by going through all these things. that you always learn a few tidbits or a different perspective by this training.
Robin was wanting to go to this one, if you can talk to her about it, the comprehensive planning. So if we're
And
gonna
the
work
top
on
one
it.
is, I'll quickly give us a quick update to the village, since there are some people in the community here tonight, and they can pass on some of the good work, but we are applying for a grant for the to update, which used to be called the master plan, is now called the comprehensive plan. And I think we have a terrific group of people that can start working on that, along with a very responsible public for all their insight. Comprehensive plan is where you see your community moving forward. It is not a straight directed by this board. It is directed by the community and this board. And this board is tasked with facilitating as much information as we could gather to come up with what we expect our community to look like in 10 years and start laying down the groundwork to get that. Some of the initiatives that you've already seen is the village has taken a strong position on becoming more energy efficient. We're renovating this building. We had gotten a few years ago the DRI grant. As you see, anyone walking down Main Street, solar panels on this building, solar panels on the boathouse, solar panels on the pavilion, solar panels on the water treatment plant, and a new park that's being initiated. Conductivity, which doesn't sound like a nice sign, but to promote health and walking community, add sidewalks, safely getting from Main Street to points of recreation and to other businesses, and creating that environment. We're still going to make an investment of $1.3 million and $30 or 300, 1.3, in excess of 1.3 million of sidewalks and curbs to accomplish that. That was also granted with no match, no money out of our local tax dollars. Of course, it is state dollars. So that's what the comprehensive plan is. And as a course for board members to go take, and I think the public is welcome to take these classes also. No, is it the public official?
No, like it's,
You never know. Different fee. With that, I gave you a brief update. Many of the 30% of the solar panels have been installed. We're waiting for Central Hudson to come to change the meter. They install a meter that spins in both directions. When you make electricity, it spins in the opposite direction. And when you don't, you use the grid and you pay for electricity. So they have a 30-day window to start changing the meters that have already been installed. The meters that are already there has to be installed. So they have 30 days to comply with that. So we're hoping that that happens quickly. The upper park is 98% complete. There is still a rope up there because we are waiting for the final construction piece of brand new blacktop from Upper Lake Road leading to the new park, including the drop-off circle, up the road to the water treatment plant and to the auxiliary parking in back of the Upper Lake, along with a very little tiny punch list that the contractor is coming back. So the rope is up. The docks are in. There was second treatment of the algicide to get rid of the lily pads, along with a proposed harvesting that may or may not be necessary. We moved ahead to reissue that permit to even harvest on top of that to make that recreation piece, which all this investment came about. And we have notified the state that the vision of the state giving us this park money, giving us DRI fund, give us conductivity to lead to the lake, is meaningless unless we can clean up the lake and get rid of the lily pads so it is navigable, swimmable, fishable. Otherwise, why are we doing all this? So I made a very strong argument, which is basically that to the state and to the DEC to issue those permits promptly so that we can use that. So we're really excited about it. The survey has been out, surveying for sidewalks so that we will start this construction season in some sidewalks. Those of you who've been present for the entire presentations tonight understand that an applicant came and we want them to be consistent to creating a safe environment down Park Lane or wherever you're going from Main Street, walking down here, that has to be consistent with development. Is it consistent in front of the firehouse? Is it consistent everywhere else? That is meaningless, because I got a speeding ticket and got caught doesn't mean that I get off the hook because Mr. Jones went past the 70 and did not get caught. So that's what we're tasked with this board to make improvements along with that vision of creating that community the way we currently envision it, where there's funding. I think that's it for the update. And I'm sorry to take up time, but I think that was the major grants. There's a lot of little things that we're working on. There's a little bit of, if you don't, any business owners on Main Street, there's a tiny bit, a pot of money. We hand delivered the application to everyone in the community, business owners for facade improvements or a possible upgrade to some of their systems within their thing. It has very little strings attached. It has very little environmental review with this tiny pot of money. So I think it's a good opportunity if you had a $20,000 project that you feel you don't have the means to do, but would do if you got partial grant money. Robin has those applications. The deadline is 2 or 3 weeks, but I did go to the main downtown business district and hand deliver everyone that I thought of, along with our regular marketing to make sure that people know about it. So that piece is taking place. We are going to celebrate the new park being open when we're planning maybe the second week of July. It's going to get fireworks. We're going to have a community day so that people can really relish on how fantastic that resource is for our community.
It's gonna be gorgeous.
As far as the housing project, lastly, Rupco has begun. They have closed. They have demolished the building. I think I didn't go today. Maybe they parted.
They have another day. They have another day.
They have one more day.
That's it.
Part all remnants, and it is gone for the public to know. It is 15 senior housing units, 55 or older, which means you do not have to be retired. It is one occupied caretaker, which will create a nice position for someone, a good job opportunity, and 40 mixed income housing units that have to average 60% AMI, which is a complicated equation planned by the county, area medium income, which means that you can make above or you can make below, but it is not classified as straight 30% AMI, which I feel like I have to beat the drum over and over again. It is not. It is mixed income workforce housing along with senior housing, and those seniors don't have to be retired. It is also, we're going to be the largest, probably in the county, housing project that is going to be completely passive. State of the art, low utilities, low impact, environmental impact. And it's gone through a rigorous planning department. Even one gentleman from the ZBA is here. They have gone through significant diligence to their site plan and everything that's going to take place there. So we think it is not going to have any negative impact, only positive impact on lives and no negative impact on their neighbors. Because to me, I find it ridiculous that anyone would think that demolished, disgusting brownfield that existed before wasn't a detriment to their property values. I believe it was, and I think this is not going to be whatsoever.
When is the application?
Probably 2 years. I think they said construction time was 2 to 3 years, so if it goes well, I would assume 2 years. And I was assured on multiple meetings, you can never discriminate anyone applying for housing. That's a federal law by your color, creed, location, or anything else. But it will be highly marketed in our local area, and those will fill the lottery. But if Mr. Jones comes from wherever on this planet and puts in an application, he is allowed.
But you can. That you can reserve for district.
Not in this case.
Yeah, no, I believe
Law.
no.
Not in this case. This is a HUD house and Mr. McGonagall's right. It's gonna be open to everybody.
But they were marketing on in this area. We don't expect it.
Says the office.
They're working on that. It's restrictions. Mr. Cashman? Correct. During the purchase and during their public meetings, even though some are going to argue whether or not it's law or whatever, the only caveat that I gave when they did give that, there was local preference, is that we will not violate federal housing laws. that they said they were still attached to federal housing. So we're not gonna be discriminating of anyone that comes, but there was gonna be a preference and it was gonna be stronger marketing in the local area, which is of great need and of which I will not get off the soapbox because this grant from the DRI was given on the premise that we have no workforce housing. We have a waiting list of 33 people for the 12 units above the bank. So seniors in our county, seniors in our town, our mother, ourselves, should have a preference to get into a housing project in our community. And we're gonna, and I would, as long as I'm here, I am not gonna get off that preference.
You know, I'm gonna follow Mr. McGonigal.
Any other questions? A little privilege of the floor? Sometimes I talk fast or all over the place.
Is there any scope more presentation of homes yet, or are they just gonna be, you get?
No, they were surveying it looks like since RUPCO is going through that Plan A with or without sidewalk, which we are determining, I mean, with or without curb on portions of South Main will be #1 priority. #2 priority will probably go in connecting the public parking lot in Main Street down Tompkins to South Main. Renwick was a portion, and there are little chutes on Main Street that need to tie in conductivity and safer space in the downtown business district that also, which may tie into this little piece to help ease the pain from here in this new apparatus, and also things by our village parking lot to improve the safety, which actually is right across the street from you. Your property, your.
You mentioned.
Of course, Rucco is a. No, I'm thinking of maybe getting to the bridge. Getting to the bridge. I want to get to the bridge, get to the park in some fashion. And then maybe extend from there, from the bridge. Which it won't be even on Rupco's side as we look at it. That's why they're surveying. It might have to be on the other side of the street. So there are difficulties there, but certainly getting everyone to the park safely, Upper Lake, and then perhaps it gets kind of narrow. You'll see some of the obstacles.
Is there?
If the engineer believes we need a public hearing, then there'll be a public hearing. Any input? I think there are, under the award, there were areas that needed to be addressed. And the ones that I just named were the top 3.
Yeah, no, sounds great. Speaking. It would be some good room depending on. Money.
And that's,
It sounds, that's.
it's down the list after. The reason why I mentioned Renwick is because, you know, you were on the board, we replaced the water main. We repaved the road. The drainage is good, and the west side of the street where the sidewalk ends is a straight shot of nothingness to get to Penrose and Sunset. So is it my priority? Is it the priority of the DRI? I don't know. I know the priority was to get people off Main Street safely to our recreation. If other monies could be spent better, maybe right here, maybe right in our public parking lot, that might be more suited. Wherever we feel is the most foot traffic currently that could be addressed, I support. And we want to analyze it closely because, you know, the curbing triples the cost of length. So where it's feasible, where curbing is necessary, it's going to be, has to be curbed. Where we feel it's not a hazard and still accomplishes our goal, then it may be flushed to the street.
South Main.
So that's where I'm at. And the survey was here last week, and they have not come up with their exact determination yet. Surveyor from Lamont Engineering that under previous board hired Lamont as the engineer of record of that piece of sidewalk.
Thank you.
You're done.
We're done.
Call the meeting.
Any, I'll call the meeting. You had enough. All right, motion to adjourn? Second?
But I wanna get one. I wanna get one.
Sorry?
We did that. What? Yeah, we did.
We
that.
did the local,
Yeah.
training opportunities.
We're getting good at politics.
That's a compliment.
Shit.
Thank you. I thought you found me funny once in a while, Joe.
Sitting in.
You got it. Thank you.